Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of CAP Explained. Today we are looking at event handlers. So basically writing your own logic into your application, because we all know that the customer always wants something changed. It's never only the standard, but we want to do some data manipulation, for example, in between of the actions. So I have prepared this sample JavaScript file because everything is written in Node.js. I hope you are familiar with that. If not, there are plenty of tutorials on this topic, but I'm gonna take you step by step how these event handlers work. So to start off, let's go with npm w. You can do double npm watch or npm w to sorry, CDS watch, not npm watch, CDSW to start the application. So basically, what I want to show you is that after I click this application, it's gonna read the list of our everything that is in our database. And you can see in the console, it tells me what actions have what data requests have been called. So for instance, in this one, it's get/books. We have, because we wanted to read the list of all of the books. If I click on one, you're gonna get an OData request for one book with a particular ID that we clicked, right? So these are our OData calls, OData actions, and we can gain control a little bit around them so that the user won't notice, right? So I have prepared this template, I would say, for the three possible event handlers that we have. So the first one being the before handler, second one on handler, and the after handler. Okay, which means that this one is before the action happens. This is during the action is happening. We can a little bit override the actions that are happening there, and the after is the result that we are getting. Okay, so if I get the list of the values, I can manipulate the result data here. Okay, and the syntax is accordingly this dot the event handler, then the first parameter, because this is like a function call, of course. The first parameter is the action or data action that is happening. So read, so it can be update, it can be insert, all of these that are listed here, right? So it's the event, and you have some to select from. We're gonna focus in this one, I think, only on the read event. The second parameter is the entity that we want to build the event handler on. So basically I can choose books, I can choose chapters, I can choose any of the entities that we are having in our application. And the third parameter is the function call itself. So what should happen during this event handler, of course. And there are three possibilities, as you can see, because the usual call will always look the same. The event handler, the event itself, the entity, and then the function call. But the function call itself can take different parameters. So rec is basically request. So the whole data request, we are taking it. It's a huge object. We're not going to go into details of that, but it's a huge object containing the data that we are retrieving, containing the select or the query itself that we are currently calling. It's calling a lot like system variables and so on. So for the before event, you don't need to always take it, but it's recommended as this template to pass the request parameter. For the on event, you would have the request and the next function. So this parameter is a function, and it basically means that for the on event, you need to return the call stack itself, so called. It's really hard to explain it, you can read a little bit more and after here. So this is a function which allows handlers to pass control down the interceptor stack. You can follow this link. Right, so but the important thing I want you to remember is that you need to return this next after we do some logic, because if you wouldn't return anything, we would get an error. And so yeah, the first one is the request, and the second one is the next function. And for the after event handler, we've got two parameters. The first one is the result that has been retrieved. So for example, for the read event, we're gonna have a list of books that we have read, and the request is the request again. Okay, so treat this please as a sample. You can take a screenshot for future reference, but it's not the functional code here. So it's just a sample.js file. But to actually create some logic, we can use one of the commands that is provided. So let's go and use the CDS add handler. And as you can see, we are getting one new file, service.js, which has been created in the service folder. So it's important to know that when you create a service definition like this one, you need to create a file usually with the same name as the CDS file. So if my file is called service, then I need to create a service file with the extension .js. If this would be called bookstore service, then we would need to create or add this per handler, per this command, bookstore service.js. So let's take a look what's inside there. A lot. A lot, because we have many entities, and let's maybe clean up a little bit so it's simpler. So you can see that you can call this events for each and one of the entities. For each one of the entities. Okay, so let's maybe simplify this to only to this books entity. And as you can see, first we've got this import of the library SAP CDS. I recommend you to always import it if you're creating a service file or the file with the logic. Then we've got the extension of the bookstore service. And again, if you're going to use CDS add handler, it will create this automatically. And then we are returning the super. So you can treat this again as a template. So in this line, we are importing all of the entities that we want to use in our logic. So you can see books is a little bit with color because we have used it here. The others one are blacked out, like the opacity is a bit lower because we are not using them currently. So let's remove them. And we are importing them using the entities, right? So, and thanks to this library. So let's keep it that way. We've got the books. And maybe let's simplify this logic again. Here you can see that you can pass multiple events to this. So I can give it a list. So every time we create a book, every time we update a book, every time I read a book or I click on the book, I can call this logic that is inside this one, okay? But for this one, let's keep it on read. So only one action listed, and the after can stay as this. So maybe let's change this a little bit, just so we can see that if is my server running? It's not CDS watch or CDSW. I learned this recently. So if we follow the link, maybe let's do it this way, just so we can see the terminal. If I go into the application, I'm getting the whole log of all of the books retrieved. which you can see here, but this is not what I want to show you. Let's refresh 5. You can see we are getting these two console logs. Okay, so the console log being the basic logger instance for JavaScript. So before readbooks, after readbooks. And the important thing to notice is that if I'm reading the whole list, I will get this, but I will also get this when going to one of the entities. Okay, so these two. All right. Okay, it was like a weird this one, but you can see after I went inside there, or did yeah. Sorry. Okay, so it has been logged. All right. So you can see already a little bit how these how we can override or add here additional logic to that. So before we are reading something, we can manipulate the where condition, for example. We can add filters in this one. Then on the on, you can do almost everything, and then on the after, you can take the result that has been retrieved, would get this list, and manipulate the data. So let's give it a go, and let's do a proper example. So first, maybe let's just console log all of the books that we are reading in the after handler. Let me open this again. So if I click on that, I will get a list of books, all books that have been listed in this JSON formatting. So it's the very same you would get when clicking on here. Okay, this is also like a JSON of the data. So we are getting this data. And even when clicking on this one, I also called this OData service and the read call. Okay, so it has listed all of these books here. So let's maybe use it and try changing a little bit our data. For example, today is a lucky day for someone for the genres of, let me take a look. For example, art books. Okay, for the genre art books, I want to give a discount of 10-20% or something like that. So let's take our books and let's loop around them. So we're gonna do a for loop, const book of books. So basically we are looping around all of the books that we have. And if the book dot genre code is equal to art, I want to give a discount for this particular book and row. So book dot price times equals 0.8. So this basically means the same as we would do. You probably know this notation, but let's just so you understand it. So it's basically the same as book.price equals book.price times 0.8, giving a 20% discount, okay, for the art book. And now if you go inside there, we can see that the art book, which one was the art book? This one, Secrets of Architecture, has been, sorry, I see we've got the labels mistaken. So let's fix this quickly. Open application info, Ctrl-Shift-P, open application info, list report, and let's quickly fix those labels. Columns, the pages, you can see we've got the value as price and the label is pages, just a mistake. And the second one, pages. Okay. So let's just maybe take a look at the original data. So the original data for art would be Secrets of Architecture with the price of 79 Indian rupees. Okay, and now we can see Secrets of Architecture art that wasn't reloaded. Let's reload it. Price, now we have twice the same. Let me take a look. Open application info, list report. Make it a little bit smaller. Columns, price. Right, it didn't save. Okay, pages, price pages, value pages. This should make sense now. Refresh. All right, price and pages, sorry for that. So you can see that the original price of this author's book, art book, was 79 Indian rupees. I don't even know if it's possible in Indian rupees to have this price, but never mind. Okay, so and we get a 20% discount on this price. And even if I go into the record, the price is still discounted because after read, so every time we go into the site something in the after event, it's gonna calculate the new price. We can do this. We can change any value. Actually, we can change the title if we want. New title, discount today, art book. So I am overwriting the title. And if I refresh, instead of secrets of architecture, you're gonna see discounts today, art book, and so on. Okay, so you can see how this can be useful. So you can do different conditions. You can do everything with this data. You can delete records. You can filter them. You can do anything you want actually. So that is the power of the event handlers. Okay, so you can override or do custom logic. Okay, let me see. I think that would be enough for this episode. A whole lot of new things to cover. You can see I haven't covered the this.on event. I mean, I showed you that it exists, but I want to give you a good example for this one because it can be very tricky and very. It's hard to find a good example for the this.on event. Just to show you, this on read books entity request. You can do it asynchronously. As you can see, if I do this one, if I reload, if I try to refresh the list now, you can see something is wrong. We get these errors, right? Because we haven't returned the next function. So as you can see in this documentation, which is here, it's telling us that we need to return we need to return something, as the default would be the next. So you can overwrite it. And for this one, as you can see, yeah, we need to return the next. So let's do that. And let's return the next function, not only the variable, the function, like that. And now if I go here, communication error we got, you saw that, we get the list again, okay? So I can still do some logic here. I can do a console log on event, just so we can see that console log after read, just so we can see that these are going one after another. So first there's the before event, then on, then after, right? So this is the custom logic. Very nice. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Keep up with the next videos coming soon. Leave a like, comment, and I see you in the next episode. Thank you.